Okay, let's just forget everything you learned in school about money. Seriously. Because getting good with money, it has way less to do with how smart you are and a lot more to do with how you behave. We're all taught that finance is like, I don't know, physics, right? A world full of rules and formulas. But the real truth, it's so much more like psychology. It's all about our emotions, our biases, and our own unique life stories. I mean, just think about this real life riddle. On one side, you've got Ronald Reed. He was a janitor and a gas station attendant who, believe it or not, patiently saved and invested his way to a secret $8 million fortune. Then, on the other side, you have Richard Fiscone, a Harvard MBA, a top exec at Merrill Lynch. This guy earned huge amounts of money, lived this super lavish lifestyle, and then declared bankruptcy. So how on earth is that even possible? No, really, stop and think about that for a second. When do you ever hear about a janitor performing a better heart transplant than a top surgeon? Or designing a skyscraper that's better than one from the world's best architects? Right? It just doesn't happen. And yet, in the world of money and investing, this kind of underdog story isn't just possible, it's a real thing that we really need to wrap our heads around. And this is the whole reason why. This is how the janitor can totally outperform the Wall Street hotshot. See, financial success isn't a hard science. It's a soft skill. It's not about what you know, it's all about how you behave. And once you really, truly get that, well, it changes everything. So what exactly is this soft skill we're talking about? Well, it's what we call the psychology of money. And the big idea is that what you think of as financial common sense, it's totally shaped by your own unique life experiences. Think about it. Someone who grew up in poverty is going to think about risk in a completely different way than, say, the child of a wealthy banker. Something that seems absolutely crazy to you might make perfect sense to someone else based on their life. The bottom line is, no one is crazy. And this brings us to a really, really crucial lesson. Getting money and keeping money are two totally different skills. They're not the same thing at all. Getting wealthy, yeah, that often takes some risk-taking, some real optimism. But staying wealthy? Whoa, that's a whole different ballgame. That takes humility and maybe even a little bit of healthy paranoia. That little voice that reminds you it can all disappear just as fast as it came. Which leads me to probably the single most important word when it comes to money success. And that word is survival. It's not about chasing the absolute highest returns you can find. Nope. It's about staying in the game long enough without getting totally wiped out to let the real magic happen. And what is that magic? It's compounding. I mean, just look at the master of this stuff, Warren Buffett. We all study his investing genius, right? But his real secret weapon? It's time. The guy started investing when he was just 10 years old. For decades, his net worth grew nice and steady, and then, late in his life, it just went vertical. It shot straight up. That is the unbelievable power of compounding at work. And if you need just one stat to really drive this home, here it is. Get this. Over 99% of Warren Buffett's entire fortune was earned after his 50th birthday. That's not just good investing. That is the mind-blowing, almost logic-defying power of simply surviving long enough to let compounding do its thing. Okay, this brings us to another super important distinction we have to make, the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich, that's about having a high income. It's the stuff you can see, right? The fancy car, the huge house. But being wealthy, that's the stuff you don't see. It's the income you haven't spent. It's all the savings and investments that are quietly growing, giving you options and flexibility down the road. Yeah, the really crucial point here is that wealth is the nice car you didn't buy. It's the diamond ring you didn't get. It's all those financial assets that you haven't turned into, well, stuff you can see. Just think about it for a sec. When people say, I want to be a millionaire, what do they usually mean? They mean they want to spend $1 million. And that is literally the opposite of being a millionaire. All right, so if true wealth is all about saving and not spending, then what's the point, right? Why even bother accumulating it? Well, the goal isn't just to pile up a bunch of money for the sake of it. There's a much, much deeper, more human reason. And the answer, maybe not surprisingly, comes from psychology. A researcher named Angus Campbell found something fascinating. He discovered that the single most powerful and consistent predictor of happiness, it's not your salary, it's not the size of your house, it's not how fancy your job title is, it's simply having a strong sense of control over your own life. And that, right there, is the highest dividend money can ever pay. True wealth gives you control over your most valuable asset, your time. It's the ability to wake up one morning and just say, you know what? I can do whatever I want today. It's taking a sick day without that pit of financial panic in your stomach. It's having the freedom to walk away from a job you hate or to retire when you want to, not when you're forced to. That kind of freedom, it's priceless. All right, so let's just quickly recap the big takeaways here. First, your behavior is your biggest edge, not how smart you are. Second, remember that getting money and keeping money require completely opposite skills. Third, survival and time are the real secrets to making compounding work for you. Fourth, true wealth is hidden. It's the money you don't spend. And finally, the highest dividend that money pays is control over your own life. Which kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. Just for a minute, forget about all this stuff, the cars, the houses, and instead ask yourself this. What is having complete control over your own time? What is that really worth to you? Because answering that question, that might just be the most important financial decision you ever make.